Well, hello everyone. Here, talk about right here is talking about AI chat assistants right here. You see this right here. I'm talking about with the bird right here, and people might even say is to where that when we do describe an AI assistant, we're talking about a machine algorithm. We're talking about an algorithm here to where it's basically a chat bot that you can use if you're working on something online, right? But a lot of times it sure seems that way. That something out of the science fiction, right? But you're thinking is toward, oh, okay, yeah, you got a chatbot right here to where that anything that you're going to be working on, by the way, there'll be a tab like here, a little functionality, usually right here on the right. I guess you can move it around any corner of the screen that you want, but usually it'll be on the right here. And if you had like an AI chat assistant right here, you would see something that says like, hello, I am your AI assistant, the cartoon right here. And so, yeah, so it's basically like a little tutor. And I know everybody might say that different ways of how you want to describe an AI assistant is basically is like, yeah, if you want to picture this AI assistant, any figure that you want, right? One of those figures is maybe going to be that whenever it comes to understanding about that, is it a talking bird, or maybe if it is any sorts of cartoon figure or something like that. But you begin to wonder, right, that whenever it comes to understanding about AI assistants right here. And so basically that, yeah, that when we talk about AI assistants right here, we're talking about that we're not talking about an actual person. We're talking about a software, like it's a program. It's a program that you're using, that you installed on your system to where that it would guide you for what you're trying to do, right? And so everybody might say that if you're going to be on your machine working on something, and let's just say that if you're going to be working on something, maybe if you're going to be painting a picture or something like that, you have like a little AI assistant, like a little hand, right here that's going to say that, hey, try out some of these tools. Try out some of these menus right here. So while you're working, yeah, while you're working on something, you're gonna have like a little AI chatbot that's going to kind of be monitoring what you're doing right here. And so while you're working, while you're going to be maybe doing a couple of clicks on anything that you're doing, that you're going to maybe have like a little algorithm that's going to kind of look at closely at what you're doing. And everybody might say that, yeah, well, really, anything that you're going to be working on for sure, right? Anything that you're going to be working on. And if you were to take a closer look right here, and people might say that, yeah, well, you're working on this, but, you really, you would like to maybe not to be bothered, by anybody or something like that. But like you say, you have an AI chat assistant, and let's just say that if you're working on any sorts of puzzle pieces, or maybe it's an activity or something like that that you're doing, but still, talk about right here is AI assistant right here. So, in case of anybody's 102, that yeah, why should I listen to a talking bird? But on the other hand, that when we talk about a talking bird, or if it's a talking donkey, or if it's a talking horse, or anything like that, or maybe if it's a talking frog, that we're talking about is that while you're working on something, that you have this functionality to where that the program is able to recognize what you're doing. While you're painting this picture right here, that you have an algorithm that's kind of studying what you're doing. And if it's going to study what you're doing very clearly, it's going to say that, hey, may I recommend something to you right here? And so it's like, yeah, hey, good morning, right here. Hello, this is your personal assistant here. May I recommend you to visit this website or something like that? And so yeah, so it's like you would get these messages most of the time, and like everybody might say that while you're in this workshop working on something, and let's just say that if you're going to be painting a picture, or maybe if it is, if you're going to be using this as like a masterpiece right here, toward it, yeah, you're trying to, what you're doing is that you're trying to form like a little design you toward it. Yeah, this bird right here. What about the bird right here? Well, this bird right here is supposed to represent for a subject matter, to where yeah, I would like to color this and I would like to present this. It's like if this right here was supposed to remind me of what time it is and what day it is or something like that. And so like the calendar days. And so I would maybe think that in case if anybody's wondering, that if you're going to have like a little chat AI assistant bird, that you might say that, yeah, I use this right here for to represent for the days of the week or something like that. You know, the days of the month, days of the week, and you would use a AI assistant right here, and like everybody might say that, yeah, do you like a good morning? Like, yeah, I just woke up reminder right here, and so people might say that, yeah, if you're gonna use an AI assistant, by the way, you might say that, hey, you know, I just woke up, so I really don't even know really what I'm doing. So if you could just remind me later on that around 12, 1 o'clock, around the afternoon time, you know, to go ahead and check and, you know, check, you know, to clean, you know, to check the laundry or something like that. So like everybody might say, if you're going to have a personal assistant, then maybe that would be set to where it would remind you to do something, you know, remind you to check something. And so yeah, that would be a good example of an AI assistant right there, to where you're actually are talking to a program, but still, AI assistants are not designed to do the work for you. In case if we're wondering, when we do talk about AI assistants right here, we're talking about it's meant to guide you. So anybody might say that, yeah, well, you know, really that you know, if we were to use this as like a guide right here, that hey, you know what, can you help me out here? You know, I'm stuck or something like that. Yeah, maybe if it is mathematical type problems or something like that, everybody might say that, yeah, if you needed a personal assistance, if you needed AI assistance for anything that you were working on, and let's just say that, you know, yeah, it's to remember the days of the week or something like that, that people might say that, yeah, that, you know, anything that you, when, and like everybody might say that, you know, AI assistants, if you were to want to get on your iPhone or get on your computer and maybe type anything that you want to talk about, and let's just say that if you were to start a conversation and say is this toward it, yeah, ask the question toward it, how many days, how many hours in a week or something like that. You know, yeah, how many hours in a week or something like that, and it's like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, how many hours in a week? So if you were to talk about that, and they say that, yeah, if you want to use an AI chatbot for that, and they say is toward, okay, yeah, you can go and type a question right here, and then have AI assistant, you know, answer for you, and so everybody might say that if you're going to use this tool right here, this functionality to talk, but you're warned to where that you are actually talking to a program right here. So this is like an AI assistant right here. So it's basically that it's allowing you to where that you can interact with this machine right here, right? So let's just say that you know, the response would be for that would be about how many days, how many hours are in a week. According to my calculation, it would be about approximately 1,570, you know, yeah, hours. But you know, that sounds a little bit more like minutes. So if we can use that as like for an example right there, and in case of anybody's wondering it, you know, that whenever you do think about that, you're 102 that, yeah, I just want something I can easily understand. You know, I don't want anything complicated. Can you do that for me, AI? I don't want anything really complicated, so can you just write something down to where I can easily understand? So let's just say if this was a code right here, yeah, the 1570 right here. If this right here was supposed to be a code right here. And people might say that, yeah. So what you basically are doing with AI is that they say is toward you are assigned a code. There's a code that they ask you to read, and that code right there is like a language. What you're doing is that you are interacting with AI, a personal assistant, But what you really are doing is that you are talking to a machine, and that machine is kind of generating and translating information from what you're talking about into what they're trying to understand. And so, like you said, so every time you think about that, and you're warned toward it, that one of the reasons why that I used this functionality to begin with was because that you had gotten a response within 5 seconds after you asked the question. Because if you were actually talking to an actual person, chances are that you would get a response within 2 days or something like that, maybe within 5 days or so. So it's basically another way of saying it is toward it, yeah. So every time you start a conversation with an AI assistant, it feels like that you're talking to a bird. Yeah, you are talking to a cartoon, a bird right here, but still, what you're actually are talking to, it's a machine algorithm that's designed to respond to to the people on the network. And so really, why do you think our children would want to spend a whole lot of time with it? And everybody might say maybe that there is a reason why, is because that anybody who uses AI is maybe going to say is toward it. Yeah, well, for one, we want something quick. We don't want anything complicated. We want something fast and easy, and we want something quick. So if we want something quick and if we want it now, then yeah, we'll go ahead and use an AI chat assistant right here. If we want something really quick, fast and easy and quick, we'll go ahead and use the AI chat assistant right here. And in case if anybody's wondering what exactly is it that you're doing right there when we talk about AI chat assistant? Well, what you're doing is that you're talking to a machine. This machine right here. You know, uh, this machine right here is like if you interact with the machine, what you basically are doing is toward it. Yeah, that maybe a little bit like an example of imaginary friend or something like that. But the type of example that I'm looking for is like yeah, it's a partner right here. But we're talking about a program toward it that just like a coach, like a teacher. This teacher right here is going to guide you toward it. Yeah, it's going to test you about what's right, what's wrong, what's correct and what's not correct. And but everybody might say that, yeah, well, why should you be disguised as a bird, as a hummingbird or a frog or a cricket, just to get information about that? And everybody might say that, yeah, well, according to the English language, there's verbs and there's nouns and then there's also action verbs or so, but you always wondered that why should I listen to a talking bird? And people might say that, yeah, well, you're looking at a talking bird, but this bird right here is supposed to be, in case if anybody's wondering, that bird right there is supposed to be kind of like an example right there of a subject. Like, yeah, it's like a, not really like a ruler, but it's a symbol to where if you want to picture this bird right here like a talking assistant, to where yeah, I'm here to guide you. So if you were to click and go to a different website, you would have this bird right here to where you can put anywhere on the page and anything that you want to click on. If you go to a website and you would have this bird right here that you can click on and you can start a conversation there. So everybody might say that, yeah. So this right here is a big picture right here, but if you were to navigate to a different website, you would have this chat bot right here. And usually it would be located right here on the right side of the page or anywhere that you want to put it. But like you said, it's like a guide. It's a guide to where hey, I'm here to talk about anything that you want to talk about. But like you said, some people call that to where yeah, I just woke up, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going to click on a couple of things right here, click on a link right here on an email. So, yeah, so that's why it seems that way, to kind of be aware of what goes on. So, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.